Hello, sports fans, and welcome to the Scott Sports 101 Thursday Night Football post-game show. I'm sorry it's a day late, but we will recap it right now. I will do that for you. The Denver Broncos got their first win of the season last night. They beat the New York Jets 37-28 at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Brett Rypien looked fantastic in last night's game. The Broncos go to 1-3 and the Jets fall to 0-4. The Jets 0-4 for the second straight season, and Jets QB Sam Darnold he played the first quarter, but then he toughed it out with a shoulder injury in last night's game, lost to the Denver Broncos, but he might not be able to replicate the same effort in the weeks ahead. Darnold suffered an AC joint sprain, and that while it's too early to tell how long the QB will miss practicing while in pain, would be a major issue. Darnold did not look good at all. I mean, he looked fair, but he got injured in the first quarter, and he did a few more plays in the first quarter, but then Joe Flacco took over, and it was just a long night for the New York Jets, and they had too many, and there were a lot of mistakes that Denver took advantage of, and Denver faltered a little bit too, but they look good though, and I just feel that that they played a much better game last night, the Broncos, and I have to give credit to where credit is due, and that's to the Broncos, and it's time right now to give out some game balls. And I give them to Brett Rypien, Melvin Gordon, and Tim Patrick. They played well. They really had a lot of yardage and really helped the Broncos to get their first win. And Brett Rypien, I said, looked fantastic in his debut. And he had 23 or 42 yards carrying, and he had 242 yards. And that's pretty darn good. And I think his uncle, Mark Rypien, the two-time Super Bowl champion, is really proud of his nephew right now. And I got to give Brett Rypien credit. I think he's going to get a lot more starts with the Broncos. So, and regarding my Thursday night pick, I took the Jets, and I lost on that one, but that's only one game. And my brother-in-law, Eric Hoyle, took the Broncos. He won on that one, so he's 1-1, but we got a whole lot more picks. A whole lot more games coming up on Sunday. And I will go over those games right now. First of all, though, there's one game that will not be played, and that is the Tennessee Titans, because there was two more that tested positive for coronavirus, and they were supposed to play Pittsburgh. And that game could have been played on Monday or Tuesday, but then they decided to postpone it altogether. And so Pittsburgh, it will just be a bye week for them, and they will just wait out another week. But here, I'll go over the other games right now. The New Orleans Saints will take on the Detroit Lions at Ford Field in Detroit on Sunday. The LA Chargers will take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Raymond James Stadium. The Jacksonville Jaguars will take on the Cincinnati Bengals at Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati. The Minnesota Vikings will take on the Houston Texans at NRG Stadium in Houston, Texas. The Seattle Seahawks will play the Miami Dolphins at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. The Browns will place the Dallas Cowboys at AT&T Stadium in Big D in Dallas, Texas. The Arizona Cardinals will take on the Carolina Panthers at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina. Excuse me. The Indianapolis Colts will take on the Chicago Bears at Soldier Field in Chicago. The Baltimore Ravens will take on the Washington football team at FedEx Stadium in Washington, and the Ravens are hoping to bounce back from that loss Monday night, and I think they will bounce back from that. The New York Giants will take on the LA Rams at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California, near Los Angeles. The New England Patriots will travel to Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. The Buffalo Bills will take on the Las Vegas Raiders at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. And the Sunday night games, Sunday Night Football, the Philadelphia Eagles will travel to San Francisco to Levi Stadium to take on the 49ers. And Monday Night Football, the Atlanta Falcons will travel to Green Bay to take on the Green Bay Packers at legendary Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Those are the games for this week, and once again, the game between the Tennessee Titans and the Pittsburgh Steelers has been postponed due to the fact that two more players of the Tennessee Titans, had tested positive for the coronavirus COVID-19. Now, I want to get back to last night's game. The Jets, Denver had jumped out to the early lead, but the Jets, they had a 3-0 lead, but then Denver came back and scored, and I think Denver, they really played well, and they had this game, it was pretty much sealed up after the third quarter, and the Jets, being 0-4 for the second season, a lot of fans feel that the Jets need to fire their head coach, Adam Gase, as soon as possible, because he is just not doing the job that a lot of people feel that he should be on the Jets. After 4 straight losses, I think Jets fans are saying we are sick of it, and I think a lot of Jets fans agree. I gotta tell you, I think a lot of this had to do with Darnold's injury, and the Jets they just could not get past the hurdle last night, and they looked good up until the midway through the third quarter, and then things just slipped away from them, and they just did not look good after that, and the Jets are struggling right now, and now being 0-4, it's going to be tough for the Jets to come back from that 0-4 deficit to try to make the playoffs. And I don't think a lot of the Jets fans are not holding their breath on the Jets making the playoffs this year. But Brett Rippon, though, he looked really good, and I think Denver's hoping for their second win next week in Week 5, and they are hoping to go to 2-3. So I really feel that this was a good game. This was a fairly good game between the Broncos and Jets. I mean, it was a high-scoring one, but in the end, the Broncos prevailed in this one. So I really feel that the Broncos just had the Jets' number last night, and the Broncos just prevailed, and they won. They get the win, their first win of the season, by the final of 37-28. Now, with the Browns game coming up Sunday, it's a big deal. I wanted to talk about that. I've made my score prediction already. I have picked the Browns to beat Dallas in Big D, and I think that they are because Baker Mayfield plays well in Dallas, and Nick Chubb does as well, and along with Myles Garrett. And I think if the Browns can really do an even better performance, because they've had 2 great performances against the Bengals and against the Washington football team, and if they can top those 2, and I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, and I think the Browns will get the win. I think it's going to come down to a last-second field goal in the final seconds of the fourth quarter. And I'm going to go with Browns 37, Cowboys 34. That is my score prediction for this week's Browns game. Well, that's just about going to wrap it up for the Scout Sports 101 Thursday Night Football postgame show. I'll be back on Sunday with the Scout Sports 101 NFL Football Sunday early games, pregame show, and then the early and late games postgame the early games postgame show, late game pregame show, and then the late game postgame show, which will also be the Sunday Night Football pregame show, and then a Sunday Night Football post-game show, and then on Monday, the Monday Night Football pregame show, and the post-game show after the Monday night game is concluded. But until then, always remember, be a team player each and every day, in every way possible. So long, everybody. 3, 2, 1, I'm done.